Explain you more about our career service. My name is Douglas and I'm a career counselor. I've been doing that for about 8-9 years in the Canton of Zurich. Also my contact is from the Canto of Zurich. And I'm counseling young people between 14, 15, 16, but up to 63. The oldest person that came up to me was 63, short before retirement. My English is, I'm trying to make myself understood. I learned my English in 1993 in Denver, Colorado. I was accepted as a student for Up People. You might know this organization. So that was one of the most exciting years. And there I learned by speaking to others with many Americans, also foreigners. And here I am showing you today something about career counseling. I want to talk about service and activities of the Canton of Zurich, what we do as a career counselors. Swiss education system, I'm going to skip that. I think we heard a lot about that. Choosing a career, how we can support the young people to do that. Advice in detail, I'm going to show you what we do. Some fancy tools, somebody said before. Not as fancy, but there are some tools. What we have as internet support, and if you have questions, please ask them right away and not wait until the end, because I'm going to do it very quick. You're hungry probably, aren't you? So in the federal law, the career counseling is mentioned. That means every canton has to have some sort of career counseling. And every canton, of course, has the choice or the possibility to organize themselves how they want to do it. So you can find in every canton different services and different ways of supporting young kids, also adults. But every canton has to have some sort of career counseling. We in the Canton of Zurich, we do have job information centers called Vist, where you can lend some brochures. There's DVDs. There are books, every single imaginable profession where it exists, you'll find information in this bits. Information events on careers. We do have information for students, but also for the young people in different professions. About commercial apprenticeship, about the Swiss education system, about many other topics in this field. We do have parent orientations and class orientations. Every student in the 8th grade has to come to the BITS and get some information from us, also the parents. We have a new tool, the app, a roadmap from the career counseling. And we do give advice, personal advice to the young people, also the other ones, in schools, also in our centers. And we do help with realizations, so give some tips and addresses where they can do some individual trial trainings. We do have workshops, how to write an application, how to do an interview, and those two mentoring, ITACA, case management, we're going to talk about later on. In the Canton of Zurich, there are 8 centers of career counseling. There are 7 in the region of Canton of Zurich, and the city does its own way. They have an own career counseling here in the middle. The Earlycon, the one I'm working for, is a little bit a special one, because there's a counseling also for people that are in sports or in healthcare. There's a special career counseling, and also for students. All the students who go and study afterwards, they come to our place in Earlycon and get there the career counseling, and all the other 7 in the region have exactly the same services. So you can go to Oregon or to Earlycon and get exactly the same service from us. Some figures. We have all these 8 services, career counseling services. We had almost 20,000 individual consultations in 2014. 3,300 school consultations. 73,000 persons visited us in the job career services center. 46,000 languages of material, information material, info events, and on and on and on. So we do quite a lot. Swiss education system, I'm not going to talk about that so much. Just, once again, these young people are about 14, 15, they have to choose a career. And there are more than 200 different professions they can choose from. And imagine being 14, 15, and there are so many possibilities. And of course, everybody says it's important that you choose the right one because you're going to do it afterwards for your whole life. It's not really true, but they think like that. So there are many different possibilities. For me, what I want to express is it is very important to get from compulsory school into the whole system. If you do a 2 years apprenticeship, 3 or 4, or even a baccalaureate, that's not important for me as a career guide. But it is important that you enter the system. There are about 5% who don't enter the system every year, and they are dropouts. We don't know really where they are. They might come back afterwards. Because if you are once in the system, there are so many different possibilities with a professional baccalaureate, or as we heard before, being 45 and have to retrain and do a new career. There's so many possibilities to redirect yourself. I started myself with a commercial apprenticeship here, studied psychology at Applied University of Applied Science, and do different jobs that I have done before. The most important thing is to enter the system, and then there's many other possibilities. You can really do a career. You can be a bachelor here and end up at university and being
So at what point in the system do students need to pay any kind of tuition? Or is the whole system free for them?
There are no tuitions actually. Yes, there are tuitions. If they go and study, they pay a student fee, which is very low. It's about 1,500 Swiss francs every year. If they do an apprenticeship, they get salary as we had before. They're almost, and the tuitions are very, very low.
If you go to a master's degree, it's still low?
Well, if you are in this system here, if you are at the University of Applied Science or at university, then you don't pay a lot. Just about, as I said before, 1,500 Swiss francs. But if you don't have a professional baccalaureate, which you can do during the apprenticeship or afterwards, when you go to higher education, that's where you pay. Because these are organized by private companies. Of course, they have a federal diploma at the end, but these are organized by private organizations, and there you have to pay quite a lot. Yeah.
And you're finishing compulsory schooling when you're 15 years old?
Around 16, 15, 16, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, after 9 years, that's what you have to do. And afterwards, you're on your own.
Or into the system.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And as I said, 95% are in the system. There are a few that are not. But most of them they're coming back afterwards to unemployment institutions, and they're coming back. Yeah.
So it's not relevant for here, but we were curious. So you start at 7?
Yes.
So what do you do before 7?
Kindergarten.
Okay, so it doesn't count as part of compulsory.
Actually, it does count. Yes. Now, a few years ago, it's also part of the compulsory school.
Is it full day kindergarten?
Excuse me.
Is it full day kindergarten?
Yes. Oh, well, yeah, full day. Not really. They have a few hours in the morning and a few hours in the evening. So it's not like in the States where you really go and eat there and have. It's not. Yes.
So the University of Applied Sciences is the public or the private?
It's public.
Okay, and then the universities in ETH?
Yeah.
Are those public or private?
Public.
Okay, and those are 1,500?
I think it's
Or
about
about.
that.
average is 1,500.
Okay, and so you can get a PhD for 1,500 a year?
I just did my PhD at the University of Zurich.
I can't hear you.
I did my PhD at the University of Zurich, and I paid 350 francs a semester.
Thank you.
Probably because
And
student
I
loan.
wanted to pay the whole time.
You were paid to work too?
Yeah, exactly.
Highly recommend.
You sending some kids here, Andy?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hire her in Colorado.
I think you get also about before. You get 4 years apprenticeships, and they also have 2 years apprenticeships. For the kids that don't have good grades in school, there's also a possibility to enter the whole system by doing a basic federal certificate. These are 2 years of training. Again, you have many professions you can start. Be a hairdresser, also a commercial apprenticeship. You can start with a 2-year apprenticeship and then continue. If you have good marks, you can continue in the 3 or 4 year apprenticeship to the 2nd year. So also, if you don't have good grades, good marks in school, you start with a 2-year apprenticeship, continue in the 2nd year of the longer apprenticeship, and then you're in the system again. So, and of course I have to say that there are some professions that have more prestige, like commercial apprenticeships, and some other professions that are not very much liked. And of course we do have, the question was before, what's the demand of apprenticeships and how many are there? We have more apprenticeships than kids wanting to enter, but of course then there are butchers, which is not a very, doesn't have a high prestige, and there you always find open spots to do an apprenticeship, but you can't push those kids in an apprenticeship if they don't like to do it, because afterwards they're going to stop or they're going to quit this business.
So is that information marketed to the children as far as how many apprenticeships are available, the types, and
Yes, we do have a tool, I'm sure you have afterwards, where all the open positions are in the internet. We get information from the companies, how many open positions have we got. We have who is responsible, the address, and there it's accessible for everybody, and the kids can see in which profession how many open spots there are.
how much you get paid?
Not the salary, not the salary.
Getting that fee. Okay.
But the salary, it is important for the young people, of course. They haven't had money before, and then in the first year they got about 500 Swiss francs. This, of course, is important, and they compare each other. I got 500 and you less, but there's nothing to do with the profession you're choosing. Sometimes if you're a cleaner in a company, you can do also a cleaner apprenticeship. Then you get a higher salary than somebody who's starting in a commercial apprenticeship.
Thank you.
So, career choosing choice steps. In the beginning, they are 14, and they have to ask themselves, who am I? So they start, where do I stand? So what are my interests? What are my strengths? What I'm able to do? And they have to get to know themselves. And we are 14. So I ask you, who knows himself in our age? So it's very tough for the young people to get to know themselves, what they want to do. Second step, they have to get to know the professional world. They know, of course, the common professions, but there are 200 possibilities. They have to know or to find out what's all there. Then they have to compare themselves, my interests, and the profession, and they have to see if there are some matchings. Do I match the requirements and my interests? At the end, explore and decide. They have to do some individual trial trainings. That means they go to companies and go and work for 3 or 4 days to see how is it being a hairdresser, how is it to be to work in a daycare. And the goal is, of course, to get an apprenticeship at the end of 9th grade. That's the time frame. It is organized, everything. The whole process starts on the 8th grade. The whole process starts in the 8th grade with class. The class is coming to our centers. And also every parent has to come to our centers to inform them about the whole process. It is very important that parents know about the process so that they can support their kids. It is a tight roadmap, it's a tight schedule actually. There are career fairs.
Excuse me,
Yes?
is it ever challenging to get parents to?
Well, yes, but they have to. It's well, the school has a possibility.
How do you make them come?
The school has a possibility to make it compulsory, mandatory. Yes, and they have to come. Of course, you don't get all the parents, but the most of them come because they know the value of the whole process starting right now. And the parents that are interested in, and most of them are coming. It's difficult for foreigners that don't speak the language very well to get these people also to our center. We have other solutions for that. So the career fairs. Also in November, we start these career fairs where many companies present their companies and present their professions. They are a big hall, and there's a whole week, and they have this apprentice showing the other kids what they're doing in their professions. So that's a very good way of getting to know other professions they didn't have to know. Career company visits. So companies open the doors also again in November, December, and so on. They have information for about 2 or 3 hours, represent their company, but representing their profession in many different kinds of professions. You can apply, and many kids do that. From the Career Service Center, we also have information for many different kinds of subjects. And then the school consultations start. From November on, we are on a regular basis in the schools and provide some career counseling. So every 2 or 3 weeks, we are in the schools, and the kids can come to us and ask us whatever they want to do. I have no clue, or my interests are this and this and this, what can I do? And we have about the time frame for 20 minutes in school for every kid, and they can apply for these time frames.
So, how many counselors, what's the ratio of counselors to students?
I don't know any. I took it's all. I have well, I have 20% of my time I'm in school, and there are 8 or 9 classes. But that's 20% of my time. I do counsel the kids. I do this information stuff. I'm here, and that's all. Everything I'm doing for the schools, about 20%. There are around 250 students I've got.
250?
Students.
Students.
Yeah, kids. Or, yeah. Yes, but there I'm free to choose. If I'm more in the school, the more school counseling, then they don't need the individual counseling. But if I'm not so much in school, they will come maybe with their parents to a career center, and I do there some individual counseling.
Did you say 50 or 250?
250.
250.
Yeah.
What role do the teachers in the compulsory schools play to support the students in advising with you? Are they also advising them?
Not advising though, but they are doing many things to support the kids. The whole thing about who am I, you can do it about writing some essays about your friend or describe your friend. They do some with pictures. What are you interested in? So to make them to realize what their strengths are and what they're good at. Am I good at being outside? Am I good at talking to people? Or do I need a spot on my own to be able to work concentrate? That part is done in school. But the counseling and the advice is done at our place. They don't do counseling. And of course, they say, oh, you might be good in sales, why don't you try that? But the counseling is up to us. That's why we are going on a regular basis to schools every 2 or 3 weeks. We are there. Or ask the kids with their parents to our place to do the counseling. Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to clarify. So the 250 students, and you go to those schools, and 20% of your time is spent counseling them, but they can also go to the center,
yes,
where there are additional counselors,
yes,
if they want help on their own.
Well, they come to me. I'm responsible for one school, and they see
You're
me.
triaging.
Sorry?
You're managing, like.
Yes.
Okay.
They come to me. They know me from the classes, and they come to me. But in the individual, I will talk about that. What's the difference of school counseling and individual counseling in our centers? Yeah. All right. Individual counseling. That's also starting from December to January. And then, very important, individual trial training courses. That's, again, they go to companies and find out if many young women, they want to work with kids. They say, oh, they're cute, and that's most of the time their idea. And if they go to daycare and hear all the noises and that's stressful, maybe they come back and say, oh, maybe I don't want to do that. So, trial training are very important. And it's not, yes, not always the right spots to do that. And then 9th grade, very important. In the 9th grade, they start to apply for a job, to apply for a spot. And, well, kids are afraid of that because they're afraid of that. Do I get a good job, or where do I get a good job? Are my marks, my grades enough for the spot I really want to go? And there's also, they can be dismissed. They can be, no, I don't want you. I know some, there's a commercial apprenticeship at the airport, and the person gets 800 applications for one position. So, of course, then they apply, and get this no, no, no. And I think it's also hard for being 14, 15 and say, no, we don't want you, we're going to take somebody else. So that's where the parents have to support very well. And yes, and it's hard. Yeah?
Are the kids learning how to create develop their applications in the classroom, or is it?
Oh, in the classroom, but we also have some workshops where they can come to a workshop and learn how can I do a creative.
Right.
Because again, if we have 800 applications, we have to do something different from all the other 799, that your applications is better or different than the others.
Are all qualified kids guaranteed an apprenticeship?
No, they are not. The companies decide who they will take. And they are not everybody will.
So what percentage will not, that want an apprenticeship will not get one?
It depends on which grade. There are the schools are SEC A, a higher level, SEC B, which middle level, and a SEC C. So the SEC A, the best students in this compulsory
But in
school,
aggregate,
around 80% probably, or 75%
will get an apprenticeship, 20% will not.
Research, we did research about that. 75% with stable over 10 years get the first choice of apprenticeship. About 10% more second choice. And the rest, maybe they may make a loop, a bridge year, you know, where they try to figure out if this is really the right occupation I want to choose, or if they are maybe not that mature to take a decision, if I want to go to a baccalaureate. These are, for that you will come back to the case management on all the other support services that we have to offer them.
Yeah. What's very important for us counselors is that we have to work very close with the teachers in school. So we are there, we're going to classes, but we have to plan the whole process in the beginning. And we are very close to the teachers. I get information from the teachers, and they get information from me. We are every maybe once or twice a year, we sit together and go through every kid and try to support them, because some kids haven't been to the teacher, haven't been to me, and they somehow skip. So everybody is discussed over. Yeah.
Do you know the percent of students in the 8th or 9th grade that are at grade level academically?
Once again, I didn't get the question. So,
what percent of the students in the 9th grade are actually performing at the 9th grade level?
They're achieving expectations.
Efficiency.
I don't know. I have to find it out. I can send you the answer. I don't know it.
Say I'm a young person, I'm from a rural area, but I'm really interested in doing an apprenticeship, say in Zurich with Credit Suisse. Am I sort of restricted to be at home living with my parents during my apprenticeship? And is there like a pathway to my Credit Suisse dream?
Back to the Cantonal with you.
CS, they're all over CS. You can stay where you are and do your apprenticeship there. But there are some professions like scientists, like yes, doing working in a lab like Novartis and all that stuff. Most of them, the open spots are in Basel, and they have a hostel for young students, and they are staying in Basel for the whole week and go back for the weekend. Yes. Okay. But Switzerland is very small. I mean, even though you are far out, you will make it. Or you want to be a baker that starts in 3 o'clock in the morning. That's maybe difficult. But all the other spots, that's not a big deal.
So 14, 15 years old sitting in a hostel.
Yes, but of course they are accompanied by others, by adults. They don't do it on their own. And 14, 15, it's an age where they have to start to choose. By when they start their apprenticeship, they're about 16. Still young, but they'll manage. And some of them are very happy to
Parents too.